Hey, what's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate Tour Reviews, and we are looking at the all-new Icon G2 series of ratchets. So they released about 9 new ones right now. I've got all 9 right here. And these are some pretty sweet new ratchets. It's kind of amazing that, the ratchet has been around for, I think, well over 100 years now. But we are still seeing, very small improvements on these, and they seem to be getting just better and better over time. Of course, Harbor Freight Icon is going to be their flagship brand. Going against a lot of their stuff like, Snap-on and Mac and stuff like that. And they've been doing pretty well, in my opinion, for doing some cool stuff with really high quality at pretty affordable pricing. So that's been really cool to see what they've been doing with that. And of course, with the new G2 series, they have made a few improvements to the ratchets. Pretty much exactly what you see on the back here. Fully sealed head, giving out debris for longer tool life. I want to see if I can access the head to do some lubrication in there or not. If you guys remember, I did a review on the Craftsman V-Series ratchets that have the sealed heads on these things, and a lot of these did not get very good reviews for the one major reason of the back drag on these things was just absolutely extreme on these. Just really bad back drag. I mean, for me working on my trucks and stuff with this, yeah, the back drag isn't great, but I mean, I kind of learned to deal with it. Some people say you can soak these in ATF and you'll be good to go. But not a huge deal there. That's cool enough as it is. Now I'm curious to see if these Icon ratchets, the back drag on these things, kind of see what I like, what I don't like about these ratchets, and we'll just kind of see what we can find out here. When it comes to ratchets, I've always been a big fan of swivel head ratchets. I had an Olsa Tools one for quite a while that I've used just on everything, and I just love how it can reach into everything. It can really just get into everything you want to get into with it. It does a really, really good job at doing that. Actually, I've got it right here. And I'm surprised that Harbor Freight doesn't make more of the swivel head ratchets because they're just so awesome. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about swivel head ratchets, kind of your opinion on these things. But I've had this one for quite a while, and I've used it a ton. Absolutely love this thing so far. So let's see here. Just a little zip tie holds this little connector in on this ratchet. Let's just carefully cut that out. There we go. All right. So this is just a little... and just like that, pops right out. Nice. I kind of like this ratchet tray in there. That's kind of cool. And I think all the ratchets actually come with that, so that's pretty neat. They also, of course, added this. I haven't really seen this on a lot of other tools. I'm sure other tools probably have this by now, but it's going to be a little flex head lock, which is kind of cool. My only concern on this is I think this is just plastic. Let me take a razor blade to it. Is that just plastic on there? It feels like it's just plastic. It might be just like a coated metal or something, or yeah, it feels actually the same as this. So probably a metal. It doesn't feel, that's kind of the only thing I've noticed about these ratchets so far is just this one piece doesn't feel super solid. Kind of the only thing I've felt in these ratchets is just that piece doesn't feel ultra solid. I can see this piece breaking on some of these ratchets, just kind of my 2 cents there. Let's see here. We do have 2 screws here I can take out to access the internals. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna take this thing out and see what's on the inside here. It says sealed, but I mean, we got screws here. So unlike the Craftsman, which is clearly probably a pressed-in style, there's no screws to be able to get this thing open, which means this thing is definitely not serviceable by any means. You can't do anything to access that head. I can definitely get this thing open. Let's pop this thing open and see what is on the inside here. Before we do that, though, let's check out that back drag. Feels a lot smoother than the Craftsman V-Series, I will say that. Right out of the box, feels a lot better. Oh, that is buttery smooth, too. That's nice to feel. Let's see here. Yeah, that is way, way less back drag than the Craftsman. I know these are not the exact same size ratchets, but, I mean, look at this. You can just tell. I mean, just right away, you can, the backtrack on these V series is, it just feels way, way heavier than that Icon. So let's pop this thing open. Let's see what's in this head here and see if these things are lubed up nicely from the factory or not. Well, I've got a security bit set from Harbor Freight, and I'm using my Hercules Impact from Harbor Freight to work on this Harbor Freight tool here. So, ooh, those are tight. Look at this bit. Oh, man. These are tight. Actually, did I already? Oh, yeah, I already broke this. I already broke this bit. Wow. So, yeah, those are tight on there. This is a T10, by the way. Oh. Yep, I totally shredded that bit so far here. Jeez, these are tight. I broke off the bit in the bolt. Wow. Okay, did not want to... Yep, that's what I thought. So I did not use another hex bit on this. I used the flat bits on one of the half-inch ones. Yeah, there's thread locker in there. That's what's holding these threads in there. Super tight. So you can actually use the flat bits or a flathead bit on some of the larger half-inch ones. So yeah, we are going to get this one open. But I mean, even still... There we go. Popping this thing out. You know, there's a little bit of grease in here, not a ton. But let's take a look at the assembly of this thing here. Okay, so looking on the inside here, we can see how this goes together here. We actually have some part numbers in there. That's kind of cool. Let's pull out the actual head here. Hope this thing doesn't like explode out on me or anything crazy. There we go. All right, so it's pretty standard here for most ratchets. No big deal there. Here is our engagement paw right here. Not sure what type of grease is on here. It looks more like it's just like a really dark oil of some sort. If you guys know, let me know in the comments here. That's what the paw looks like on the new G2 series ratchet. Yeah, it's like a dark little bit of oil in there. Really, it's not like it's oiled a lot or anything. I will say, I wish there was I'm definitely going to add more. I know they say sealed, but I don't really know if I'd call this sealed or not. That is an interesting design. Check this out. It's like a little spring mechanism in there. Right there, just a little spring. And then this is probably pressed in somehow. There we go. This piece comes out then. All looks decently high quality to me. Yeah, pretty easy to put this thing back together, at least though too. That's the nice thing. So if you take this thing apart, to of course add some grease to it, you definitely can do that. There we go. Just like that, we are back together. So I'm going to add, of course, some of the Super Lube, just a synthetic grease. This stuff is actually fantastic for ratchets. Depending on where you read online, you're going to hear a lot of different stuff on here. Not too much in there. Just kind of get some in the paws. But yeah, I was hoping there'd be a bit more grease in there from the factory. Not a ton. Let's get the grease moving in there nicely. Get that lubricated up. Well, if you got the half-inch style, they are relatively easy to get the screws out. If you have the other styles, well, they are a bit more difficult there. But yeah, there is thread locker in these screws. Be aware of that. If you try to take these apart. All right, just like that, all back together. There's nothing crazy in here, any springs or anything that would just, fly out. So that's kind of cool to see. This is pretty easy to get back together. Once you get those bolts out that have the thread locker on them, this is then no big deal. But yeah, you definitely want to add a little bit of grease to these ratchets. I mean, there was barely any oil in there from the factory. Not that you need an excessive amount in there, but you just want to have enough to make sure you're coating the gears, making sure everything stays, as it should. All right, let's take a look at one of the quarter-inch flex heads here. I seem to use, I guess I probably mostly use 3/8 inch myself, but I have been using quarter-inch quite a bit here for work on some radiator stuff, and I got a bunch of little hose clamps I need to take out, especially on that Tacoma. There's a lot of little stuff I'm working on that little truck that is super handy to have quarter-inch stuff here. All right, let's see, is this one going to be hard to get out? Yeah. Oh my god, why do they have these things in here? These things are like super just sturdy in there. It's crazy. All right. Ugh, that is tight. You can actually hear that. Here, I'm going to put it close to the mic. Awesome. This is a nice little ratchet here. Yeah, same. Looks like we got the T10 screws in there. I'm not going to try to take this one out because I pretty much damaged all of my little T10 bits already. So I'm not going to try this one. But yeah, nice little ratchet here. Let's test this for back drag. Feels like a bit more than the 1/2 inch, honestly. Yeah, a little bit more. But that headlock, though, that's kind of nice. Nice. So it goes over 90 degrees. That's nice to see. Let's see if I just want to lock it like right there. This lock is tight on this one, I will say that. You gotta put some force into it. I'm like trying to wiggle it to see if I can go in easier. Kind of curious how much force these could withstand. Like how much, how hard is it to break that lock off? That's what I'm kind of curious to see. I'm not going to try it, but I'm hoping it's a good amount of force on there to make sure that we don't break those off, because interesting design there. But yeah, these feel smooth. Your on-off switches feel nice and smooth. Your reverse switch there, that is great. Awesome. Now I know what your preferences are on the cushion grips or not cushion grips. I find this one to be quite interesting. This is a 12.5 inch extra long 1/4 inch drive ratchet. This is the only ratchet I found that was kind of interesting, because this handle on this thing just feels really weird to me. It's just like unusually small. I don't know what it is about it, but something about that just feels weird. And I know it's a 1/4 inch ratchet, yeah, but I mean, like, what are you putting enough force on a 1/4 inch ratchet for to need this long of a handle? I just wish this handle, I don't know, something about it was just a little bit more grip or firmness to it. I don't know, I think I'm just kind of nitpicking on this thing a little bit, but don't know about this thing too much there, and that little handle there. Okay, I got a couple of the new Harbor Freight hats in, kind of looking cool there. Don't really do reviews on hats too much, but this is kind of cool to see this. They are, of course, on the mesh back there. I think these are like, what, 15, 20 bucks or so at Harbor Freight now, so that is kind of cool. Well, all right, guys, I'm going to open up the rest of these ratchets. You want to stick around and watch me check them out. Like I mentioned before, guys, I'm not actually doing a review on the new Gen 2 just yet. This is more of just a initial thoughts unboxing here, so I want to just open up the rest of them. If you guys want to check them out right now, if you're looking for a certain type as they hit the stores, I want to kind of show you guys the unboxing of all of these. I guess the one thing with the unboxing is you got that zip tie on the back that holds it in, which is pretty easy to cut with a razor blade. Be aware of this little thing here, this little tab here that's holding these things in, because they are, I mean, these things are in there tight. Jeez. I don't know why these things are like ultra tight. I'm not gonna put this thing back in, but man, careful, these things, they'll fly out and hit you in the eye. Look at the head on this thing though. This thing is tiny. Oh man, let me get a calipers on this thing. This is absolutely tiny. This thing at its widest is 22.9. Height 11. If we count the anvil there, 18.7, and total height of that head before you hit the shaft there, 37.3. This thing is, wow, quarter-inch ratchet. That's a tiny little quarter-inch ratchet there. Okay, next one up. Let's get the G2. This is also the extra long. This is going to be with the nice cushion grip on there. I've heard some people say that they don't like the cushion grip because, of course, they can get, you know, oil and stuff all over them. I don't know. I've kind of preferred the cushion grips myself a bit. You know, they're not hard to like wipe off, I guess. But I do see where you're coming from. You know, I've got both myself. And I mean, like, if you look at my two favorite ratchets right here that I'm using up to this date, they don't have cushion grips on them either. So, you know, I do like the V series with that nice little grip on there. That's pretty nice. I'm not really a big fan of this style, just because it doesn't really offer any additional grip on there, really. But the V series, kind of like that, those little grip zones here. That's kind of nice on there. But yeah, I've got cushion grip stuff before. I don't really have a huge opinion, you know, one way or another on the grips or not. But let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about the grips, if you're for them, against them. Oh, jeez. I'm going to screwdriver on these. Holy crap, these are tight. Oh, my God. Hope these ratchets are as durable as the case they come in, right? There we go. Man, that's tight. All right, again, same head on this one. We actually have a nice cushion grip on there. Kind of impressed on the cushion grip. It's super solid. I don't think still see this thing coming off. Bottom, of course, is hard. But yeah, I much prefer this grip to this grip. That's definite. The cushion grip on here, that's got a lot more grip on it. This, it's small. If this thing was bigger, I would definitely feel a bit better about it being not so slippery. But if you got some oil on your hands or anything with this, this is going to be sliding right off there. This cushion grip, I think, is way, way better here. Okay, well, let's move up here. This is the 3/8 inch one that has the flex head that I could not get the screws out. I was just breaking bits on there. But it's got, of course, the cushion grip and the flex head on there. This is a great size cushion grip on here. Here's it in my hand. Nice, you know, grip on there. Feels great in the hand there. The 3/8 inch, of course, is going to be like probably one of their best sellers, of course, most commonly used size. This feels like a great overall size of ratchet, and I think this is going to do quite well. That same little gearing noise in there too, which is cool. Again, not too bad at back drag. Definitely feels way, way smoother than the V series that I've got, of course. Definitely feels like, honestly, yeah, definitely feels better quality in my opinion there. All right, let's see here. We got the extra long 20 inch. This is also a 3/8 inch drive. Man, I don't think I've ever seen a 3/8 inch drive ratchet at 20 inches long. I'm like, I only get one 3/8 inch drive ratchet. It's like, is this all the rest 1/2 inch? No, there's some really big 3/8 inch ratchets here. This thing is a monster here. Ugh, not looking forward to this again. Let's see if this one pops. Oh, this one pops out easy. Okay, cool. That one came out easy. All right. Man, the new heads on these things are tiny. I will say that is a big change there. Pull the calipers here. So 3/8 inch drive head here, not flex. 30.3. Actually, no, it's 30. Pretty much 30 millimeters exactly there. Height. Let's see here. About 48.6, and see how thick this thing is. 16 when you count the actual drive. About, yeah, 27 there. Pretty tiny. I think the only 3/8 inch drive ratchet that I have that has a smaller head than the Icon is this new Cobalt one. I mean, it's just a bit smaller, not massively smaller, but incredible what Icon is doing with some of these heads and these ratchets, making them real tiny on these things. Okay, and then we got the last 3/8 inch drive. This is the exact same one, but no cushion grip on there. Also the 20 inch extra long here. Let's see if this thing pops out as easy as the other one. Hoping it does. Come on. No, this one's not going to pop out easy. Ugh, these things are so tight. There we go. If you can get a screwdriver in there and break off one of those little pins like that, that thing makes it come out a lot easier then. All right, so basically the same as the last one. The only difference on this one is going to be the no cushion grip there, but also 3/8" drive. This thing is huge. All right, let's move on to, of course, 1/2 inch. So here's the one that we had earlier in the video. We installed the more grease in there. This has got some heft to it. Again, this is the regular grip, no cushion on there. This is a big one. Now, what size is this 26" long here? I mean, we are, it's not a breaker bar, but pretty much is at this point. That is something there. Let's pop open let's do the flex head next here. Interesting design on this one. I know it's a flex head, but it's got quite a long head on there. Yeah, look at this whole head design on here. Pretty long mechanism here. When you count the flex head part in here, this piece here is pretty beefy overall in length. Let's see if this thing works again. If I jam the screwdriver into here, try to break off that. Yeah, there we go. Break off that tab, and this should just come up actually quite nicely. Come on. Putting up a fight again. Well, there we go. This comes out now. All right, this is the 1/2 inch flex head on here. Beefy. Let's see this paw. Yeah, this one engages actually quite nicely. So that's nice. It's funny, the 1/2 inch one actually has the easiest engage and disengage on that flex head paw there. It's kind of ironic. I thought the 1/2 inch would be the most difficult one to do, but no. That's the easiest one. Let's see the back drag on this thing. I mean, this thing is a really heavy handle. I mean, yeah, it feels nice and smooth. Not buttery smooth, but it feels real smooth in there. I think I definitely get some lubrication there, though, too. It feels like it should be a little bit noisier than it should be there. But this one does have the nice grip on it. Nice, big, beefy grip on here, so that is awesome to see there. Definitely got some serious weight to it, I will say that. The weight of these ratchets is something else here. All right, let's get the standard, just the regular extra long ratchet, no flex head or anything on this one, with the cushion grip. Alrighty. Let's give this thing a shot, try to break out that clip there. There we go. There we go. That came out without too much fuss there. Pretty decently compact. You can tell a lot of design really went into these new ratchets. That grip on there is awesome. Definitely liking these new grips in there. That's pretty sweet. Well, alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the unboxing video here. So I'm going to do, of course, using actually these to work on my trucks and stuff here on the farm. And I'll let you guys know here in a few weeks to a few months what I kind of think about these ratchets. If we're actually going to use them real world here. And so far, like them so far at this point. You know, a few little things, you know, I think like definitely got to add grease to them. That's pretty common for a lot of brands though, unfortunately. But again, lifetime warranty from Harbor Freight, so that's always a must on a lot of hand tools, of course. And if you want to check these out. They should be getting into stores here pretty quick now into Harbor Freight's, the new G2 series ratchet, I think probably stands for Gen 2. So these are looking pretty cool, and I think they're coming with some more in the future as well too, if I had to guess. But these are the first couple of editions coming out now for the G2 series. Any questions, guys, leave them in the comments below, and thanks for watching, guys. Take care.